What does hedonistic utilitarianism mean? Have you ever wondered how we determine what is right or wrong in our actions? Today, we will unpack the concept of hedonistic utilitarianism, a fascinating moral theory. At its core, hedonistic utilitarianism defines the rightness of an action by its ability to produce the greatest net happiness or pleasure for everyone involved. This means that an action is considered morally right if it leads to more pleasure and less pain compared to other possible actions. One key aspect of this theory is that it treats everyone's happiness equally. The well-being of each individual affected by an action carries the same moral weight. This approach combines two main ideas: hedonism and utilitarianism. Hedonism suggests that pleasure or happiness is the only intrinsic good, while pain or unhappiness is the only intrinsic bad. Utilitarianism focuses on maximizing overall good consequences, which is often understood as happiness or well-being for the greatest number of people. It is important to note that hedonistic utilitarianism differs from hedonistic egoism, which only considers an individual's own pleasure. Instead, hedonistic utilitarianism requires that we consider the happiness of all individuals affected by our actions. This makes it a more socially oriented ethical theory. However, hedonistic utilitarianism is not without its criticisms. Some argue that it reduces all moral value to pleasure and pain, overlooking other important values like justice, truth, and rights. For instance, it could theoretically justify actions that seem morally troubling, such as punishing an innocent person if it increases overall happiness. This raises questions about fairness and what constitutes intrinsic moral goods. Philosophers like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill are closely associated with hedonistic utilitarianism. Bentham emphasized the quantity of pleasure, treating all pleasures as equal. In contrast, Mill introduced a distinction between higher pleasures, which are intellectual, and lower pleasures, which are bodily. He suggested that the quality of pleasure also matters. In practical terms, hedonistic utilitarianism can guide decision-making by encouraging actions that maximize positive experiences and minimize suffering for everyone involved. This can influence policies in areas such as healthcare, law, and social welfare. However, its strict focus on pleasure and pain, as the only measures of morality, may conflict with other ethical principles valued in moral ontology, such as rights or duties. Overall, hedonistic utilitarianism is a consequentialist moral theory that prioritizes maximizing overall happiness understood as pleasure. It treats the well-being of all individuals equally, but it also raises important ethical questions about the limits of pleasure as the foundation of morality.